Hello to my Sagittarius. This is Queen Amun Ra coming to you with your general reading, Sagittarius. Let's get right into it. Let us see what is going on in your reading. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. We have a full moon coming up in Pisces on the 7th. Is a full blood moon, and it's going to be a total lunar eclipse. So you're totally letting go of some things. And so what that means for you, Sagittarius, is that it's a deeply emotional, mystical, and revealing time for you all. It lands in one of the most sensitive areas of your chart, in the area of your home, family, your emotional foundations. Because it's a blood moon and a total lunar eclipse, the energy is amplified, often bringing endings, breakthroughs, and powerful shifts for you. So, in the area of home, family, and roots, a moon in Pisces is compassionate and dissolving. And so, this lunation activates for you, your private world, your home, your life, your family dynamics, sense of belonging, and the emotional foundations and inner security. As a fire sign, a Sagittarius, usually looks outward towards adventure and expansion, but that Pisces moon is going to pull you inward, right? So asking, you to examine your emotional needs and inner stability. And then in areas of letting go of old patterns, the eclipse in Pisces invites surrender. So for Sagittarius, this could mean releasing past hurts connected to childhood, family, or domestic life. And then in areas of relationship and home life and partnerships also may feel the ripple effects. So questions around building a home with someone, redefining family roles, or balancing career and private life could surface, that kind of thing. So I'll swing back around and give you some tips at the end of this reading, but let's jump right in. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. Every decision I make, I consider my inner child. I consider my inner child. You all rule ninth house. Ninth house is all about quest and adventure, around philosophy, religion, and belief. Also around adventure, travel, and long journeys. Also around teaching and higher education as well. Let's get into it. Let's get right into it. Sagittarius, let's do it. Let's see what's going on. So every decision I make, I consider my inner child. I consider my inner child. All right. Let's do it. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what is going on here. All right. First card out of the deck is the Queen of Wands. All right, the Seven of Cups here. So someone seems to think, okay, now looking at your cards, I see you as being very high vibrational, right? And you've moved on. The scales from your eyes have been removed about something that was very unhealthy and wounded, about two energies, being in a very poisonous environment. And now somebody's seeing the duality of a snake, right? So on one hand, a person could call somebody as a snake, it's like spineless, but obviously we know the snakes have a spine. But the other side of a snake is just like not feeling nurtured in an environment, right? So that's the other side of a snake. It sheds its skin. It's like you've outgrown some kind of an environment, right? And so somebody is starting to see the light and dark side of things, the light and shadow side of something, right? And how it could have some kind of an effect on things, like some kind of residual effect on things, of like being in a toxic environment, right? Like sometimes things can kind of sort of linger. So see this ladder right here? So somebody's trying to climb a ladder. Like basically somebody could be trying to climb a ladder in the workplace. And the example I always like to give is like personal examples of people that I've seen climb ladders in workplace, but in a healthy way, right? Where people may not think it's fair, but it's like how people like create connections with people, right? So, sometimes people in the workplace think people slept their way to the top, right? That's not always the case. Some people find out when they go back down, they go back in terms of variety, right? Sacral chakra. Some people find out that they create real good music together, They do. They just create good music together. Something is really not just smoke and mirrors. Some people just create real good music together, meaning that some people have warm conversations around some other people. Like some people are, like somebody may say, "Oh, we're from the same hometown," right? Or somebody may remind somebody that they're from the same, the same hometown. Somebody may say, the connection may be there. Like, okay, well, we're from the same hometown. We're from the same, we like the same things. Like we like the same kind of like candles, for instance. Like, oh, you buy your candles from there. I buy my candles from somewhere too. Or like, oh, you like that kind of bowls or whatever. Oh, so do I. Where do you buy that kind of bowls? Like some people have those warm conversations. Oh, okay, well, you buy that kind of hair product there. Like you're flipping over bowls, like basically trying to, create some kind of connection with energies, right? And some people, like I said, are inspired by high vibrational conversations, right? And coming away from toxic environments. So once somebody feels like, okay, it's not a healthy environment in a situation, some people just move on. So something has closed out, and somebody else is asking why something is closed out. Yeah, so again, every decision I make, I consider my inner child here. That's what I'm seeing here in the card here. This is a matter of perspective. This is about Knight of Swords here. Somebody could have talked to someone, meaning you could have talked to someone that you have in common. And again, this could look like you're either running away from something, because somebody's thinking fast. Now somebody's like this looks like somebody either running away from something, or somebody could be going to something, right? Somebody could be talking about going out to get some fresh air, or somebody could be talking about running away from something, right? So it's just again a matter of perspective. Looking at the cards here, but something is closed out. But that's the example I like to use, like when I'm seeing climbing a ladder in the workplace, because I've seen that too many times in the workplace. And I'm talking about in the positive sense, where people, they link up because they from the same hometown, really. And somebody may go, well, how did that person get fast tracked, right? Maybe they like the same sport. Maybe they like the same team, right? Sports team, right? It's a variety that we talk about. Cups energy. It's a variety of things. That's the basic need for that. It's just a basic need. It's a variety. That's it. Why would somebody go to and talk to this energy versus that energy? Right? So, so that's what somebody is seeing here, like in the cards here, is saying, like, what's so warm about this energy over that energy, right? What's so inspiring about this energy over that energy? So again, it really is just a matter of just kind of like the duality, looking at the cards here. So something again is closed out. It's almost like I said, something somebody said. Somebody was determined to bring the shadow out of someone. It could have been a fire sign that was determined to bring the shadow out of someone, right? Basically saying somebody was all smoke and mirrors. They're very unhealthy and wounded in some way, shape, form, or fashion, right? So we can go ahead and close this situation out. They're running away from something or whatever. Who knows what somebody's saying. But somebody could have been talking about somebody behind their back. They're running away from something as fast as a motorcycle, where another person could have been like, no, somebody's going out to get some fresh air. I mean, who knows? So let's see what else we have here. So somebody sees you as very high vibrational, but of course you left something, you moved on from something, and somebody thinks that because you're not linking up with them anymore, whoever you are, Sagittarius, because I'm seeing for the most part, people see you as high vibrational, and that's really all that matters, right? Is that when you look in the mirror, you see yourself as high vibrational, right? You went on a quest for something, and you know, you could have felt like something was a bad environment or something like that, right? Some people could have looked at, people had some people in common or whatever. Some people could have been looking at something as like, you know, smoke and mirrors or whatever. So let's see here. Yeah, here's the High Priestess. And this is about intuition. Everybody has intuition. Men and women have intuition, right? But somebody's at peace with something now. Somebody sees the light and dark side of things. Somebody's at peace with something now. As to why, when somebody's outgrown an environment, they just move on. Some people just quietly move on from an environment. They just move on. Some people are not flipping over bowls. They're not going off. They're not running away from anything. They just close out. They pray about it, meditate, and move on. Their intuition is telling them something. Like, okay, they just move on. And that's what I'm saying for you. You have something in common. You know, with somebody, you just get focused. You go out and get some fresh air, maybe take a walk or drive, or if you have a motorcycle, maybe hop on a motorcycle and you just move on, right? So here we have, I see some kind of a leadership position coming up for you. Either you're part of a team, so you know what kind of team you want to be a part of, whoever you are. And this is, I'm seeing here, somebody does not want to be on a team where people talk down to people or look down on people. Like somebody just doesn't want to be on that team. Like look down on a person because of the way they look or the way they dress, or they flipping over bowls. Basically, like, you know, a variety of reasons to look down on an energy. You know, look down on a person, right? Or my intuition is telling me that we shouldn't do such and such based on how somebody looks, whatever. Like trying to bring out a shadow side of somebody. So some people, they just quietly just move on. This 7 right here is like once you get a feeling about something, we're talking about water. Like you get a feeling that somebody will create something to make you look like a devil. You know, basically the devil's in the details. If you start feeling like, you get a feeling somebody's trying to create something to demonize you, all right, it's just time to move on. That's what I'm seeing here. That's what somebody's like looking at, like in the workplace. Somebody could have that in common in the workplace, right? Just because I put a positive spin on it, right? And I say, because I'm telling you, I've witnessed this in the workplace, but it's very high vibrational. And somebody could think I'm being naive, but sitting around and listening to people who are like, oh, I didn't know you were from so-and-so, such and such place. Oh, you went to such and such school. Or you such and such. Oh, we have that in common, right? It kind of sort of connects people, you know, with, something. It creates some kind of a connection there. So it just feels like a person went out and got some fresh air and they came back. Right? So yeah, every decision that I make, I consider my inner child. And so let's see. Here we have the 8 of Pentacles. I do see somebody now, when somebody now walking in something, somebody is thinking multiple streams of income instead of attaching themselves to, you know, like somebody now. Okay, the mindset now is when you're talking to someone is thinking more of like, you could have a job, but you could also be thinking, in addition to that, you're thinking of creative ideas, right? Like you got all these ideas. Okay, I'm talking to somebody, but I'm also talking to them about some ideas that I have as well, right? Yeah, somebody was just determined to bring a darkness out of somebody. You know, oh, this person, they all smoke and mirrors. People think that they are all love and light. How do you get to love and light? Somebody had to go through some people hating them, you know, like they had to come out of a snake pit. That's everybody. Had to come out of some kind of a snake pit. People said they were running away from something. They were this and that. They look down on people. This is what you have in common with some people, right? So some people are saying you were just smoke and mirrors, and this is what you have in common. People trying to connect you with some stuff. This is like, you know, you were hooking up with somebody, you know, in the workplace. That's how you got up a ladder in the workplace. And it's like, what? Until you got somebody who, like I'm saying in my readings here, who've sat around a table and said about people, that's not, everybody not hooking up. Some people are really from the same city, town, whatever. And they, you know, whatever. So, but somebody is, like I said, somebody is still kind of, like I said, I'm looking at the Eight of Pentacles here. I'm looking at, something is now closed out. Somebody's going to ask why. Because it's two sides of something. Like I said, it is somebody was determined to bring out a darkness in you, whoever, right? But I feel like for the most part, people hold you in high regard. What else we got going on here? Somebody was saying that somebody was all about money. What is this? So it could have been another fire sign saying that you were all about money. Yeah. Trying to make somebody look like a fool. Or it could have been yeah, somebody may have been saying you were smoke and mirrors. You were trying to make somebody look like a fool. You were trying to make a high priestess look like a fool. I don't know what this conversation is all about. So if somebody was saying that you're a snake or whatever, but again, the duality of a snake is you may have felt like your side of something could have been like, you know, you outgrew something or somebody else outgrew an environment and just kind of sort of, you know, moved on. Another thing that I'm getting here in terms of perspective is what you have in common is like sometimes people kind of sort of go away for a while and just move on, you know, and go away for a while and then come back and pick up on a conversation like, you know, like it never left, you know, like, okay. That's what I'm seeing, like also in perspective. That's how some friends are. Some friendships are like that. They, some friends, they talk every single day. They're familiar with what's going on every single day. And some friends, they talk every now and then. They come back together and they just pick up where they left off. So anyway, I'm seeing something closed out. Yeah, here we have the Justice card. Yeah, somebody was just, like I said before, somebody was just determined to be an open enemy. Somebody was determined to show that somebody was an open enemy. So, like I said, because somebody was basically seeing something as a competition from the very beginning. So somebody could have saw you as a competition from the very beginning. So no matter how much you would have had someone's back, whoever this energy is, no matter how much you would have had this energy's back, somebody was determined to tie you in with something to try to make you look like a fool. Remember, Uranus, the Fool card, actually goes retrograde tomorrow. It goes retrograde in Gemini. So if you had a conversation with someone today or even tomorrow, if you're watching this on the 5th or 6th, somebody was determined to get you in a conversation with somebody, right? Where somebody could be either recording something and say you were running away from something, or you were ran to something to talk about somebody behind your back. You were a snake, whatever, who knows. Again, so it's just saying this is a matter of perspective. That's why I try to put a positive spin on the Seven of Cups, because you do have people who have more things in common than others, and that's just it. That's it, and that's all. Yeah, that's it, and that's all. So somebody is saying that So somebody is saying that somebody was determined to, here's the Ace of Cups. You're creating something that you can protect. Looking at your cards here. Creating something that you can protect, right? So something doesn't just fizzle out. Looking at the cards here. Like legally, you're creating something that you can protect, so it doesn't just fizzle out. So that could be a business that you're creating. I do see somebody getting an 8-hour job here, right? So in a leadership position, so that you can leave behind these energies who are just determined to bring a darkness out of you. I mean, like they're just determined. I don't know what this is about, but somebody's just determined to bring the worst out of you by just creating just any old thing, right? So yeah, so you're saving yourself from something, but also in the midst of something, you have love coming across your path. Yeah. You also have love coming across your path, but this person isn't coming to save you like they're coming on galloping on a white horse or anything like that. This person is like, they're just talking. Y'all are just talking. So somebody could just be in a talking phase in a situation here. Maybe y'all just creating, something that, just, hey, let's talk every now and then, whatever, that kind of thing. So it may develop into something that'd be up to you and somebody else, but you're just saving yourself. I mean, you're saving yourself. Like I say, every decision that you make, you're considering your inner child. But like I said, whoever this Queen of Wands is, somebody was just determined to bring out a shadow side in you. And like I said, you could have been in a very poisonous environment. And somebody just, but to add context to it is the Fool card here goes retrograde on the 6th of September in Gemini. Gemini it rules third house, that communication, right? But somebody was determined to get you to talk about something. Somebody was determined to get you to talk about something, whoever you are. So yeah, you're leaving something behind. You're saying, you're leaving something behind, because if you know that you have been you've had people's backs, you're leaving something behind. But if you also know that you've been stabbed in the back, by the same energies that you've had their backs, you're saying you're moving on. So that's what makes justice in your favor, especially if you say, no, you've had people's backs in the back and they talking about taking you to court over some mess, So somebody's talking about creating something, so you need to save yourself. So Source is saying to you, this love coming across your path. Here we have, this is the Lover's card. Lover's card is not always about lovers. It's about making a decision, but it's also about twin flame, partnership in business and or in love. So twin flame is maybe one twin flame in a lifetime. This could be somebody's twin flame coming across your path. This person is going to really help you in a spiritual sense, like not religious, but in a spiritual sense, like really help somebody make a decision, in the spiritual, like, you talk about it, create something, whatever the case may be. Yeah, Justice card. Yeah, because two energies where you've had their backs are now talking about taking you to court for something. Whoever these two energies are talking about now taking you to court for something, and you've had these energies backs. So yeah, to try to make you look like a fool, because I feel like some people are embarrassed. Here we have the King of Wands here. Somebody is saying there's a Leo that has their back. You see this lion's head right here. Somebody says a Leo has their back. So for you, your ancestors have your back. You have a spirit guide. So however decision you make, you've already saved yourself, because you created something, right? You have something, right? So you created something. So you're here at making a decision about something. Or whoever you are, you're making a decision about something. So I feel like somebody is a prayer warrior. Whoever you are a prayer warrior. So these energies, whoever these energies are, they were waiting to pounce on something anyway legally. So what I'm picking up on is either you're dealing with Yeah, some energies, like I said, they were waiting to put a team together to tie you to something. And I see you have, like I said, you have an 8-hour job coming your way. So the 7 of Cups is the devil is in the details, right? So, and we know that the devil is very crafty. So you could have been in an environment, like I said, where something was in the water, for real. Something was in the water. You could have been, you know, drinking some water, or you could have been thirsty, or maybe you didn't pour into yourself, or you could have been saying, you know, who knows? Maybe you didn't feel hydrated. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, everything is fine. Yeah, everything is fine. Yeah. So here's the Ace of Swords here. I do see you cutting ties with, this is this decision that you're making. You'd rather cut ties with these 2 energies, whoever these 2 energies are, because it's something that you know. Like, it's something that you know. That's why you're saying here the King of Wands, who would be a spirit guide. That would be like an ancestor. Something about your spirit, something about your energy, whoever you are. You don't look like, let me see how I can word this, whoever you are. You could be a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Something about your energy, people really don't know how to read your energy, whoever you are. Somebody may give off of somebody gives off a very structured, very authoritative, not just a look. Your energy is very structured and very authoritative. So a person, like people, what I'm picking up, whoever you are, is that people, the way they try you is through playing. You know, like people say, oh, I was just joking. So if they push the envelope a little bit too much, it's just like, and you come back at them, they'll say, oh, I was just kidding. I was just joking. You know, because people try to push the envelope to see how much they can get away with you. That's what I mean by this. So it's kind of hard to read your energy, whoever you are. It's kind of hard to read your energy. So yeah, but somebody was just determined to bring out, yeah, and it could have been this, doesn't necessarily mean it was a Scorpio, but it could have been a Scorpio. I mean, it could have been, I don't know. Somebody was linking up with somebody. Who knows? Anyway, so I see you pouring more into yourself. I do see you cutting ties with energies, and I do see you pouring more into yourself because, yeah, somebody saw how you can, you know, somebody saw you in an environment, and it was like they pressed the right button this time, and they saw you raise up, whoever you are, because somebody was basically saying you were a snake, you just slithering away, you just kind of like, so, but they pressed the right button this time. They saw they saw the other side. Whoever this is, they saw another side of you. So it could have been a Scorpio. Somebody saw another side of you because somebody was trying to bring a dark side out of you. So yeah, so you're in a very vulnerable state right now, very, very vulnerable state, because you're having a tower moment. Somebody's having a total recall of just basically about perspective, like seeing two sides of, you know, something. But again, source is saying everything is fine. Everything is fine. You're just cutting two energies off. Yeah. Yeah. And Wheel of Fortune is spinning in your favor. So yeah, something was just fated to happen. I mean, really, something was just fated to happen. And that's how some people are. Some people, they just move on. They ain't running from anything. They just, it's a matter of perspective. They just move on. The scales from their eyes are removed. They just move on. They just save themselves the legal problems. They just move on. Yeah. So here we have, your inner child is proud of you. Yep. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health. Here we have, you have the gift of claircognizance. This is psychic knowledge about other people. You deserve the best. More money is coming soon. Third eye chakra cleanse. Document your dreams day and night. They never stop loving you, whoever this is, right? Prepare for an increase in pay. The curse is now broken. Your new home awaits, whoever you are. So you have the gift of clairsentience. You pick up on others' vibrations, their emotions, their moods, and their feelings. All right, so message from your ancestors. And then it's time to heal your wounded warrior. That would be your Chiron. Chiron, which I believe is still retrograde. But yeah, some people, they just, once the scales from their eyes are removed in a job and they just realize, okay, they're around situations, like if you work for a manager or something that you feel like is talking down to you and that's showing you no compassion, you're just like, okay, you just start looking for a new job. Some people, they stay there, they go off, they do all this extra stuff. Some people just say, it's not even worth it. They just move on. But yeah, not everybody who's climbing the ladder is sleeping their way to the top. Some people are, working. Some people are working. And so whoever you are, looking at the cards here, unless you've seen something, I mean, there's another side of that coin too, because since this is your reading, unless somebody saw you, you know what I'm saying, like flirting with, hitting on, doing the most, laughing a little too hard at the jokes, sitting in somebody's lap. I mean, y'all know what I'm saying, don't you? Yeah, so. But yeah, somebody, this could be somebody's friend or somebody's family or something like this. Yeah. So somebody was determined to get somebody to talk to somebody. Like somebody was like, okay, they gotta hurry up. We gotta hurry up. We gotta hurry up and get somebody to talk to somebody. We gotta. Let's put our heads together. We need to flip over some bowls. We need some variety here. Let's think, right? So we get, time is running out here. Time is of the essence here, Time is of the essence here. So yeah. So you're thinking back, you're going back through your memory here. You're going back through your memory. This is the Ace of Swords here. Somebody is now going back through their memory of some things here. Just kind of, just remembering what you said, what you, somebody could have a nose ring. Somebody could love math. Algebra. Somebody could feel like you, somebody could feel like, you are hard to figure out. Somebody could have felt like you were really, really hard to figure out, like, what is the motive? Like, what's the motive that this person moved on? How come they don't want to be a part of this? Somebody was determined to become enlightened. Whoever this energy is, they were determined to become enlightened. Were you running away from something? Like, what happened? Like, why did they make this decision? What is going on? Whoever you are, like, why did they decide to leave the job? Why did they decide to leave love? Why did they decide to, and so anyway, you have a twin flame coming in. Yeah, so some people were getting real creative about wanting to know why, something about you. So anyway. If you could just keep in mind, Queen of Wands starts at the solar plexus, so somebody needed to be significant. Whoever this is, And then sacral, somebody thought of a variety. A variety is the basic need here for the bowls, the cups energy. Somebody needed a variety of bowls, a variety of things to create. Let's create this, let's create that, let's create this. But what you don't see here in the cards is root. They still didn't get to the root of something. So that's the danger of solar plexus. So this is right here, worth. This is the root of it. You know your worth, right? So you have been worthy to belong to love all along without any need to improve. In fact, you are love itself. Yeah, so this is the root of it here. This is your root. You know your worth and you know your value. So whoever you are, that's the root of it. So that's why you feel so lucky. Yeah, because you know your worth and your value. So yeah, you're in a very vulnerable state, but source is tearing everything down like before, like whatever, like, yeah. You were somewhere where a Libra was recording something. You were somewhere a Libra was recording something. Because somebody said that you were running away from something. And so somebody said you were smoke and mirrors. So a Libra was recording something because they wanted to close something out, right? Somebody said that you looked, so in between all of this, the Knight of Cups and also the Seven of Cups, the Six of Cups, right? But somebody said when you come out the house, you just kind of sort of just like look like kind of out of it or something like that. People were saying, you know, people lie and tell, just talk about anything. But I feel like because somebody, this is the good part of it here. This is the Queen of Wands here. You, right? So even though somebody was determined to bring the shadow side out of something as far as you're concerned, they didn't get away with talking about you because you saved yourself because you had done the shadow work. Whoever you are, you had done the shadow work, right? And you weren't running away from anything, right? So somebody was saying you was a snake and you know, basically look at them. They just look like anything when they come out of the house. And I'm like, okay, well, what? You don't even have to be a fire sign. Somebody just feels you because you know your worth. You know your worth and you know your value. Yeah. So now when you kind of going back through your mind, you're like, okay, who had a nose ring? Did somebody have because like on this card, you kind of going back in your mind. Maybe somebody have a nose ring or something. Not that it would even really matter, because you may be asking, what was the motive? Who is this person? You know, like I said, it's a small world. You never know who knows whom, who's connected to whom, whatever. But because you know your worth, somebody wasn't interested in getting to the root of anything. They just wanted to prove a point that you look like you were, you know, just come out the house looking any kind of way. You have the gift of clairsentience, right? So I feel like you may have had a warm conversation with someone. So here we have prepared for an increase in pay. Yeah, you may have had a warm conversation with someone. You could have been very nice to someone. That's why I always tell you, your mental health is just as important as your physical health. Somebody was just determined to tell a lie. Yeah, something sounds like it's an obsession, for real. That seven of cups. Yeah, some kind of something has been brought to a closure. Yeah, there's closure here. Yep. So just in time for the full moon. There's closure here. And this is closure in the spiritual realm. Yeah, somebody was just determined. Like I said, you don't know who knows whom, but looks like somebody was recording possibly your conversation. But this would have been in a physical sense. Like you would have been somewhere, like in the physical sense, high vibrational. You were very, if I can help somebody with something, it's like you would have walked into somewhere, right? And said hi to everybody, right? You know, like, you know, your manners. You walked in, you say, hi, everybody, you know, like walked into work or whatever, or walked into someone else's job or whatever. Hi, you know, speaking to everybody that was there. Could have been like 7 people there. You spoke to literally every single person that was there. Hi, hello, hello, hello. You literally spoke to everybody. And when you left, you addressed everybody. Okay, you know, see you all. Everybody have a good day. You know, that kind of thing. So, yeah. So your spiritual strength. This is 9th house. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so somebody basically is just saying you talk about everybody behind their back. That's what a lot of people say. But see, people weren't willing to get to the root of like what was really happening, or like what. Yeah. Yeah. Now somebody was wearing a mask. Yeah, 7. The number 7. So the other side of 7, which is Libra, we're not necessarily talking about Libra, is Taurus. Taurus and Libra are ruled by Venus, the goddess of love. You see this green right here. So it's like somebody was jealous that something was closing out for you, right? This number 9 here, that you had raised your spiritual. Somebody was mad that you were like, they were mad that you were ascending higher. Right, and so somebody was being vain, vengeful, and green with envy. That's what this is. They were wearing a mask, saying that you were wearing, you're just smoking mirrors. You're not such and such and this and that, and yeah. So you're all talk and all of this other stuff. And so, if you said something about somebody behind their back, like I said, you already cut some energies off. So whoever. Yeah, I don't know. But like I said, I do see you being very high vibrational in your cards, whoever you are. So sending you likes to love and light, whoever you are. And your opinion is your opinion. Your opinion is your opinion. So here we have 333. So nurture your mind, body, and spirit connection. So your angels are asking you to balance yourself. What area of your life feels out of alignment? So get a meditation practice going, embark on your workout routine, or finally start that vision board you've been procrastinating on. So your angels want you to look at the areas of your life that are not fully rounded out and self-correct. 333. Right? So people could be talking. Yeah, green connects us with love. So people could be talking about they love you, or people, whatever. People could be talking. So, but in a good way though. People could be talking, you know, that they love you. So there it is. All right, that is what I have for you. Again, sending everybody lots of love and light. And like I said, everybody's not going to agree. Everybody is not going to agree. So, but I feel like you made connections with some energies here. Looks like you could have made a connection with 2 energies, or maybe 3, who knows. Seeing a breakthrough here. You're feeling like you're on top of things. You're in a very vulnerable space. Somebody wasn't wearing a mask, right? You raised your spiritual strength, because we're here in the year 9, 2025, right? So Source is just kind of tearing everything down for you, like in terms of being impulsive. Like what I'm seeing here is that maybe some people judged you, like judged your book by its cover. That's what I'm picking up on here in your cards. Maybe some people judged you by, you know, basically how you look, like your outer appearance. Like this person was wearing a mask here. Somebody could have judged you by how you looked, right? And you may not have seen something until you raised your frequency. Yeah, you may not have seen something until you raised your frequency. You just say, oh, okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's what I see for you. Hopefully this is helpful. Yeah. Something something funny is coming to me. Oh my goodness. Okay, because I'm looking at 9 and 7 here, right? So in between here is 8. And this is what I see, like this generation says online, like somebody is saying you 8. Y'all know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of slang term, like somebody is saying you 8. But basically they saying, you know, like it's a compliment. So if I got a younger generation watching this video, y'all explain it. But somebody is basically like you 8. So that would be a compliment. All right. That's what I have for you. Bye.